Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. This is part two of our ongoing conversation with Elmer Yuen, and we're going to talk about three things in this part of our conversation. First, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, where things stand according to Elmer. Second, what happened was that when Nancy Pelosi was visiting Taiwan, her son was in mainland China attending a meeting of a board of directors in which there's a considerable stake of the CCP in that company. Is this true? If so, was this all a make-believe? What really happened behind the scenes? A very interesting reveal from Elmer. Also, the two islands that China is eyeing. How important are they for Taiwan and for the rest of the world? So with all this stuff happening, let's welcome Elmer. Elmer, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you for inviting me again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elmer. So let's start with our situation on the ground in Russia and Ukraine. From what I read, Elmer, I'll be honest with you. One day, one guy claims they are winning. The next day, the other side says they are winning. But can you give us? You are right now probably closer to what is happening than I am. So maybe you can shed some light on how you see this conflict play out.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the situation because it's somehow related to China, because Putin and Xi Jinping are almost like brothers, doing very similar things. So anyway, on the third day of the war, which is back in February this year, when Russia failed to capture Kiev, already the fate is decided. So Russia was never prepared for a drawn-out war. So they were hoping they have paid enough Ukraine officials, bribed them, and then asked them to give up, not to fight. And also they thought when they walk in, they are going to be welcomed in open arms by the Ukrainian, by the people. And of course, that was never the case. So from the third day, when the Russians discover that it's a trap, the Ukraine were all ready for them. So and they had a whole plan, all packed up and trained by the American and the British and so on. So the third day already, I think I'm not trying to say I'm clever or I'm right, but already my position is it's over. It's over. And so the American, and together with Ukraine and the British, of course, Boris Johnson, they have planned this thing and they're timing it. They could have given lots of weapons right away to Ukraine, but they give in stage, like a spoonful, giving one spoon at a time, so that Ukraine can program it step by step and start. Now, of course, they are doing very well in Donbass. Now they have a sneak attack on the air base and the weapon depot in Crimea. This is all planned. This is not by accident. And of course, the Russian, when you see Russian have to ask for help, soldiers from Syria, and also from Siberia, soldiers from Siberia, and also from North Korea, and start using prisoners as soldier. Russia is not a small country. It's not so difficult for them to conscribe 100,000 or 200,000 people, meaning people refuse to fight. All right, Russian people refuse to fight, and not only that, the whole military has been demoralized. 80,000 wounded and dead, casualties, and then over 1,500 tanks and hundreds of airplanes. The destruction is total, and I have never one shred of doubt that they are going to lose big, and as a result, Putin will not be the head of the state anymore. It's only a matter of time. So Biden has been programming it for his midterm election. So what you are seeing, the final push will happen probably between now and end of August. And they are expecting to have a negotiation. Already somebody in Kremlin has already been in touch with CIA, talking about a peace talk, all right? And a ceasefire and a peace talk. So I would say that from my knowledge and information, negotiation will start sometime in September, after Ukraine's tremendous gain, both in Crimea and in Donbass. So they are winning. They are very clever. They don't care about the land right away. They don't care. They care about destroying their ammunition depot. Because then if you have nothing to fight, what's the use of holding on to the land? Then they can really run and drive them off. So far the strategy has been really genius and successful. Every move they made, Russia has been losing. So they are running out of munitions. They are coming out with very old airplanes and the tanks, and even the World War II stuff are coming out because they run out, and it takes time to build, to manufacture, especially during such heavy sanctions. Only China is supplying them with the metal. The missiles need a very light aluminum alloys. So China is supplying them and some of the weapon, but within containers that they can ship by railway to Russia. But they have to cover it up because they claim they are not helping. They are helping. There's no question they are helping. And it's a total loss. And then very soon, the Ukraine will cut off the water supply and the bridge from Russia mainland to Crimea. So then Crimea, everybody's running away. The residents are running away. They know, so they are running away. And then the Donbass, even those Russian residents in Donbass, they are leaving. So I would say that there will be negotiation in September, and then maybe come to some kind of ceasefire in October. And that would be good for the midterm election for Biden and the Democrats. At least they can claim they are very good in fighting enemies. So outside US. So that's their game plan. So I have never doubted it, and it's happening. Whoever still believes that Putin is going to win, I think I think he should really I don't know what to say, but eat some humble pie.
Yes, yes. And let's go on to the next question. Nancy Pelosi is visiting Taiwan, and her son is in China attending a board meeting in a company that has CCP holding a major stake. So, was this all a match fixing, or was it a fixed match? What do you make of it? How can all this happen and saber rattling also happen in parallel?
Unbelievable. Never mind. Taiwanese are basically Chinese. Hong Kong people are Chinese. China people are Chinese. They learn from the same master. They are really the master of bribery. The master of bribery. It's going on for thousands of years. So, like Pelosi's son or Hunter Biden's son, these are always targets to be bribed because somehow even Pelosi's husband, of course, belongs to a law firm, and that law firm does all the business, represent China in all their legal business in the United States. So they do it all the time. But of course, Pelosi has a political standing, and then and the whole Congress, U.S. Congress, is very anti-Chinese communist. So Pelosi somehow have to lead this anti-communist movement, but it doesn't mean the family will stop making money. So they continue to make money.
Money
Seriously,
is separate, ideology is separate.
unbelievable. Anyway, the reality is, money is money. Money is, and then at the same time, they also have to put up a political posture. But overall in US, and I'm in Frankfurt right now, Europe and US, the people in Germany, about 75% people. And of course, their congressmen or their parliament people, they would represent the people's opinion. So they are very anti-communist, same as US. The Congress in US is very anti-communist. The leaders now switching. Before, they need China's money, and then their politicians sometimes have business interests with China. So, but then they suddenly appear in the last 2.5 years since the trade war started by Donald Trump. Things have been changing. Even the politicians, even the administration people are changing. So in Germany now they are organizing also a group to visit Taiwan. So any pro-China company and a politician are losing their ground. So don't worry about it. I think by next year it's over. No, China cannot find any friend. They are even making enemy. Don't think China is really good friend with Russia or North Korea or Iran. Already now China is fighting with the Taliban in Afghanistan. We thought they are going to be allies. It's not true. Their relationship is not based on mutual interest. They are fighting inside all the time. It's not based on universal value. Universal value is really the long-term bind to the free world. That's why we are so close together against the communist China. So I believe, and India, of course, you are also part of us. But we hope that strategic-wise, you would join the rest of the world against these terrorists. These are all terrorists. You can find every one of them: North Korea, China, Iran, Russia, Venezuela, Cuba. All these are tyrannical countries. We have no reason. You are the biggest democracy in the world. You have no reason to have this dealing with them. It's just these are fleas. They get on your body all over you. It's terrible. You don't sleep with the people with fleas. I hope I have not insulted your country.
Not at all. Not at all. I think it's constructive criticism. It's well taken, Elmer. And let's move on to the last question. How important are these two islands to Taiwan? Is it symbolic, or are there some industries, people living in those two islands? What do you make of it?
There is no economic value at all. This is why China will grab those. Taiwan has won the war back in 1949 with the communist China, right? The communist China have never fought any war in the water, all right? So they try to send somebody to take over those two islands, and Taiwan really beat them with the help of US. So that's why they still kept those islands. But I think if China start a quarantine or embarkment on Taiwan Strait, that is not defensible, those two islands. And if Xi Jinping can control those islands, occupy those two islands, it can be considered as a victory, because they can claim, oh, the Americans on the other side, we won a war, not only with Taiwan, but with America and with Japan. So I believe they will capture those islands as a symbolic success. But it does not really change the whole situation. But if US is clever, or is really wants to get rid of the communists once and for all, US should use them as the excuse to really defeat the China. We cannot avoid a war. It's no matter, it's soon or later. What the communists would do, they would let the people starve in order to feed the soldiers, to continue the war. They will never surrender. They will not, because the people, there are 1 billion people to exploit, and people are willing to starve, and they produce something. So at least they can support a military, let's say 10 million soldiers, they can easily support. And this will go on and on. So the West or the free world must make a decision and to finish them off once and for all. I know it's difficult because people worry about world war or nuclear war. But somehow, if you really want, you need to get rid of them. This is a cancer for the whole world. All right? Without the communists, even Russia would never do such a thing. They thought it's backed up by China. Unfortunately, the backup is a little bit shaky, very shaky. So,
Yes,
but
indeed.
anyway, yes, go ahead.
So thank you very much, Elmer. That was wealth of information, and I hope somebody in the Indian government is listening. Listen, this is all unasked for good advice. That's all I can tell you. As the shift of sand is taking place, sands are shifting, and they're shifting decisively in one direction. And viewers, you can send me comments as to why we are still wrong, but we have been very consistent. This was a war that Russia could never have won. And you just have to go back to see why that Kiev campaign failed. They had a 40-mile long column. They forgot to bring petrol along with them. I mean, it was as dumb as that. So you can have love for Russia, but you have to have some amount of why they are failing here and there. Anyway, it was wonderful talking to you, Elmer. And viewers, as always, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you thought that this information was useful, consider donating using the super thanks button. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me again.